Good afternoon, Dallas. It's great to be back here in my hometown and my home state. Apologize for being a little bit late, but first thing I have to do every time I come to Texas is I actually detoured a little bit past Love Field and made a stop out by my house and went to a famous local restaurant that I dearly love. I hadn't been there in a couple months, and so it was good to make that stop by and came over here to see you guys this afternoon. Um, it's also good to thank you, Mayor, for that introduction. Members of the council, member of the Texas congressional delegation. It was good to fly down with you this morning. As you know, I do have a tradition that we do. I do fly with the home or the state's delegation, and I'm actually flying to. I tried as much as I can to have them fly with me to Texas to talk about the issues, or to any state for that fact, and talk about the issues that's facing uh, that state at the time. You know, we're at a critical time in our nation's history. You know, just in a few short weeks is Super Tuesday, a big day as far as the primaries are concerned. And, you know, we're well within this campaign, and there has been a lot of name calling, a lot of back and forth insults toward one another. But what I haven't heard in depth is what these candidates are going to do when they take the oath of office. Some have said, yeah, they're going to be a dictator. Some have said they're going to fire all the Schedule F federal employees, uh, things like that. But had they really laid out a vision for this country? And that's what I'm here today to talk to you about. You know, as we gather here this afternoon to reflect on the trials and triumphs of the past 3 years, I stand before you not only as your leader, but as a fellow citizen, sharing a vision to renew the spirit of our great nation. We have faced unprecedented challenges, from the relentless grip of unprecedented pandemic to the growing polarization. Yet, through it all, we have demonstrated a resilience that defines the American spirit. You can pardon me for my allergies too. I apologize for that. Flying down this morning, it got me as I got off the plane. But you think about it. Almost 4 years ago at this time, we were on the brink of a once in a lifetime pandemic that it was on the verge of destroying this economy. It tore this country apart. People turned against each other. We were isolated. Now look where we are 3 years later. We went from 15.5% unemployment overnight to where we are now, about 3.5%. You know, in the past 3 years, our collective efforts have borne fruit, witnessing a remarkable reduction in unemployment from, like I just mentioned, 15% to an impressive 3.5%, almost 4%. Today, I want to share with you our commitment to overhauling the unemployment system. You know, and that's one of the things I want to talk about, because what happened was, when the pandemic actually happened, immediately overnight, businesses shut down. We had to do what we had to do. We had to put money into the economy. If we hadn't pumped money into the economy through the Payroll Protection Plan, PPP, we would have destroyed our economy and probably destroyed our country. But what happened was, as a result of it, and I'm not saying this is the case for everybody, but as a result of it, people got used to staying home and not working. And let me say that under my administration, we're going to overhaul the unemployment system. It will no longer be susceptible to exploitation. Our new and enhanced unemployment system, called enhanced unemployment, will mandate a minimum of 5 job interviews per week for benefits, ensuring that every able-bodied American is presented with the ample opportunities for gainful employment. Now, let me make that clearer this afternoon. We're going to talk about able-bodied. I'm excluding our seniors and stay-at-home parents. I'm addressing, however, those who, despite the end of the pandemic, have chosen unemployment and have not returned to the workforce. This status quo needs to change, and I will make you this promise. Under my administration, it will change. We have candidates talking about what they're going to do on their first day. I will guarantee you this: the first day of a Rogers administration, we will tighten the reins of unemployment. People who are in the workforce will be working. On the topic of infrastructure, this initiative is not merely about fixing things, a deliberate effort to strengthen and modernize critical elements such as roads and bridges. Our commitment to improving infrastructure goes beyond immediate repairs and initiative. It is a strategic, forward-looking endeavor aimed at enhancing the very foundation of our nation. We recognize that our roads, bridges, and other essential structures form the backbone of our society, facilitating economic activities collectively and the overall well-being of our citizens. This improvement plan involves assessment of current infrastructure conditions, identifying areas that require not only repairs, but comprehensive upgrades. We are focused on deploying advanced engineering solutions to ensure that our infrastructure not only meets existing standards, but anticipates and adapts to the evolving needs of our dynamic society. And I just think about that when I made that drop down visit to DeSoto a few minutes ago. They're on the verge in that city, my hometown. I'm proud to say my hometown, of a major redevelopment of a main thoroughfare in that city, Hampton Road. Now people are getting a little antsy that you're not seeing the progress you should be seeing. It's going to take time, but the infrastructure will be in place, and we will be redoing the roads. They will be redoing the main road in DeSoto, Hampton Road. They will be updating. And just think about the thousands for us in Dallas. Think about the hundreds of thousands of cars that travel that road going north and south every day. You know, the evolving needs of our dynamic society, from the development of smarter transportation networks to innovative materials and construction methodologies. Our aim is to create infrastructure that's not only durable, but also efficient. We envision a future where our citizens experience smoother commutes, safer travels, and a robust infrastructure network that facilitates economic growth and societal progress. Central to our strategy is recognizing the profound impact on our communities. It's not just about construction, it's about creating opportunities by investing in these improvements. We're stimulating local economies, generating jobs, and breathing new life into neighborhoods. Ensuring prosperity reaches every corner of our nation. A cornerstone of this initiative is our commitment to environmental stewardship. We are incorporating technologies to make our infrastructure more eco-friendly, including significant investments in renewable energy projects such as solar, and recognizing the need for collaboration. We emphasize bipartisanship, and I say this, we emphasize bipartisanship. We call on Congress to unite and pass comprehensive legislation that not only addresses immediate needs, but also sets the foundation for sustained long-term development. Bipartisanship. That's the one thing that Washington needs. We need to work together. You know, people elect people to these positions, all the way from president down to the mayor, down to the city council of your hometown. And when they do, they're putting a sacred trust in you that you're going to do what is best for the city. But what happens, and oftentimes it happens in Washington, you get up there and you get caught blinded in all the pomp and circumstance of what it is to be a congressman, what it is to be a president, what it is to be a vice president. And you forget about the people back home. And it's very easy to do. You can sit out there in Washington, look out over the Potomac River, and easily you forget about what's happening back home in Texas. I have never done that in 3 years. Matter of fact, this kind of ironic thing this morning, as we left Andrews coming down here to Texas, the further we got out from Washington, the smoother the air got. And so it tells you a little bit about the turmoil and the turbulence that's happening in our nation's capital. Understanding the unpredictability of the future of our plan prioritizes resilience, strengthening our infrastructure, ensures a quicker recovery in times of crisis, and underscores our nation's ability to rebound from unforeseen challenges. Beyond immediate concerns, the plan charts a course for the future. Strategic investments are intended to position the United States as a global leader, not just economically, but also in terms of technological innovation. This initiative transcends political affiliations. It is a collective effort reflecting the enduring spirit of our nation. As we discuss this plan, and we will discuss as we go forward throughout the year, let's remember that it is an opportunity for our country to work together, irrespective of differences, for the collective betterment of all. Now, there's another priority, and what I'm outlining for you today are things that are going to cost money. Things are going to cost money. I know it is tradition that a man like me comes up with a conservative plan. smaller government, less spending, but we need to spend this money. And I'm going to outline to you here what we're going to spend it on. One thing is the exorbitant cost of prescription drugs. This issue transcends mere policy. It is a moral imperative. It's just unjust for individuals to bear the burden of paying hundreds of dollars for medications while you got Big Pharma over there raking in billions of dollars in profits. I think about a good friend of mine, a school teacher, just down in Mansfield, Texas, not too far from here. And on her salary, she's a teacher, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later on too, how we're going to get these teachers more money. But on her salary, one of her prescriptions costs $700. It's not anything that she wanted. It's something that she needed. It's a difference between something you want, but something you need to sustain daily life. $700. Now, why is that fair? Why is that fair when Big Pharma is raking in billions of dollars in profits? We're going to change that under my administration. Now, let's turn to the transformative potential of electric vehicles, EVs. As we stand on this principle of a significant shift towards EVs, we must acknowledge the importance of the readiness. The transition involves a comprehensive overhaul from charging stations to power grids. Rushing without proper preparation is like setting sail without a navigational map, risking challenges that could hinder the adoption process and lead to unintended consequences. Excuse me. And I apologize for being a little bit under the weather here today. Our journey towards a sustainable future requires careful planning and strategic execution. Let us not be hasty in our pursuit, but rather deliberate in ensuring that our infrastructure is ready to support the electric revolution. By doing so, we pave the way for a smoother, more efficient transition that benefits not only us, but generations to come. And I just left DeSoto a few minutes ago to make my way here to downtown. And I've talked about this all through the country. There may be more, and if I'm wrong on this, I'm wrong, okay? But I know of one charging station, I keep calling them charging ports, but charging station in the city of DeSoto for a town of about 65,000 people. Infrastructure is not in place. You have candidates are saying we're going to do it in 20, 30 years. You see sales of EVs are not even where they should be. I will make you this promise today. The transition to EVs will happen when the infrastructure in this country is available and not a day before. Shifting our focus to the issue of the border, let me affirm that the United States welcomes people, but it must occur through proper channels, not through unauthorized crossings. We will reestablish border control to ensure order and security. And the biggest thing that has come as a result of the border issue is fentanyl. The fentanyl crisis unfolding within our nation demands urgent attention. This synthetic opioid, known for its formidable potency, has become a central figure in the ever-expanding narrative of the opioid epidemic. The crisis requires an approach from intensifying law enforcement effort to dismantling illicit drug networks to enhancing addiction treatment accessibility within our healthcare systems. Addressing the fentanyl crisis mandates collaboration across various sectors, from government agencies and healthcare professionals to community organizations. Through a unified and multifaceted approach, we can strive to stem the tide of this devastating epidemic, safeguarding communities and fostering a healthier, more resilient society. And we really can. We can get the fentanyl situation under control, but it starts at that border. And think about this one fact. There's enough fentanyl that comes across the border every day to kill every single American. Enough fentanyl comes across the border every day to kill every single American. That's got to stop. Now let's shift our focus to the Middle East, and we're going all around the place here this afternoon. It's long been marred by decades of conflict, and the Israeli-Palestinian issue remains at the heart of this turmoil. I firmly believe that a just and equitable solution lies in the establishment of two independent states, Israel and Palestine, living side by side in peace and security. Supporting a two-state solution does not mean taking sides. Rather, it's an endorsement of a just and comprehensive resolution that accommodates the rights, security, and dignity of both Israelis and Palestinians. It is a call for dialogue, diplomacy, and a commitment to finding common ground for the betterment of all involved. Now, this next section of what I'm going to talk about today has changed a little bit from where I once stood. I believe in the sanctity of life. And before I begin these remarks on this portion, I want to say that deep down in my heart, my belief is that taking a life is wrong. And I recognize the profound value of every individual. At the same time, I firmly believe in a woman's right to make choices about her own body and reproductive health. The issue of abortion rights is multifaceted, involving personal beliefs, ethical consideration, and legal frameworks. Supporting a woman's right to choose does not diminish the recognition of the inherent value of life, rather acknowledges the complexities of individual circumstances and the autonomy that women deserve in making deeply personal decisions. As a society, we must strive to create an environment where women have access to comprehensive reproductive health care, education, and support. And we do. We are the United States of America. The government should not have a right to tell anybody what their decisions are on their health care, much less a woman. They shouldn't come in and say, hey, you need to abort this fetus. It's up to the individual. Just any situation is up to the individual. And, like I said, deep down inside, I believe that it's wrong to take a life. And my Christian beliefs lead me to that. But at the same time, I also believe that we live in a free country and government should not have control over a woman's right to choose. Education reform stands as a pivotal cornerstone of our nation's restoration. Our classrooms should be sanctuaries of learning, not a political battlefield. My education plan is called Back to Basics, aims to support teachers, provide quality education, and prepare students for the future by depoliticizing the classroom. Restoring patriotism and reinforcing fundamentals like history and the ABCs is just not a campaign slogan, it's an imperative. We reject the influences of this so-called woke education. The plan that I've been talking about is not merely a policy agenda, it is an opening chapter in our journey to restore the greatness of the United States. And I really think it is. I mean, I've talked about these plans all through the country, bits and pieces, education, the border, unemployment, and different segments. And I really believe that this plan can get the United States back on track. I really do. We've come a long way in 3.5, almost 4 years. But we've also come a long way in being further apart. We need to come together as a country and solve these problems. I remember back when the pandemic first started and how united we were as a country. We were saluting our first responders. There were flyovers of hospitals, people waving flags. All of a sudden, the situation with George Floyd happened, the riots in the street. We became polarized. We started tearing ourselves apart. That needs to stop. And we need to come together as one and shake each other's hand and move together as the United States of America. If we do that, I truly believe there's nothing at all that we can accomplish as a country. May God bless you. May God bless our troops, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you all very much. Thank you.